Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom.
Kill me now.
I've trawled the internet for the best, worst and most interesting math pigs I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer... Why?
Yes, to the basement.
So this is going to be a good episode. Yay!
Is that because you're here?
You said it, not me. I agree with you. You said it, not me.
Right, it's Friday. No school today. So what are we going to do?
Party.
Oh. Well, your theme tune that no one else knows. Today we have got with us Dave R. MathPig, who wrote a book on fly fishing. Godless Granny. Beth. Seraphim.
Hi.
And MathPig.
I'm not here. This is all a figment of your imagination.
Okay.
I think the whole world is.
Yeah. If only.
Sometimes.
Has anyone got anything? He likes to think so, but it's not moving. It's got to move to be the Matrix. Does anyone have anything fun going on over the weekend?
I'm working.
Sorry, go on ahead, B.
Me?
I didn't say anything.
I just
All
said that I'm working. That's all I said. Yay.
I'm doing a stream tomorrow. It's de-stressing with friends, and MathPig and Mama are both going to be on it.
They're not. How the hell did you get them?
They'll take anybody over on Godless Granny's channel.
What time is it, Granny?
It's going to be at noon Central Standard Time.
Oh, it's noon central. Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can catch it then. Yay!
Sorry.
Good deal.
That's Saturday evening. I might actually catch that.
That's at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Jen is doing a huge stream tomorrow on what's going on in the trans community with J.K. Rowling's, and I'm going to have a very small part in that, which is why I need to clear later in the day, and that one is starting at 2 p.m. our time. So I guess that's 9 p.m. your time. And that's going to involve a lot of people.
I saw her planning it. I want to know whether or not she actually invited JK.
I think if she did, she'd have like a rebellion because people would be so pissed off at her if she even managed to get JK.
No, I don't think so. I think there's lots of people just want to shout abuse at her. It'd be interesting.
Oh yeah.
MathPig,
I'm sure
who've you
there's
got?
one in front of people.
Well, I thought today was Saturday, so it turns out it's not. So in 2 days, I have Marie de Elephant. She's coming on. Marie de Elephant
She's awesome.
from the Autonomous
awesome.
Podcast. Yes, she will be on Sunday at 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. So when I was texting you earlier, Granny, saying I had a stream tomorrow, no, today's not Saturday, so I'm doing nothing.
Manda.
Meh.
Meh. You don't have anything.
I have Bionic Dance.
You have Bionic Dance.
Sunday night.
She's tiny. No one's heard of her.
No, nobody's heard of her.
No one knows who she is.
Sorry.
You have Richard tomorrow.
What time is that?
3 p.m. Central, 10 UK, 5 Eastern Standard.
Oh, today?
Doing carrying on with Enoch or doing something fun?
No, doing Gilgamesh. He couldn't do it
Gilgamesh,
this week.
where have you been, Dave?
Oh, we did Enoch, didn't we? I've slept through.
Dave.
Dave, pay attention, damn it.
I know. Right. Question 1, which is somewhat related. Sorry. Well, first question. I'm getting told off. Question 700. What?
I
Question
wondered
1.
that myself.
We're starting again. We're going to go through all 719 to now. Right.
Oh, snap.
Question 719. What are you most looking forward to doing once we get to the other side of this pandemic?
Getting Manda.
Getting. Why are you doing the getting in air quotes?
Getting hold of her. Things that can't be discussed online.
That's their kink. Don't kink shame.
Fairly certain they've been discussed extensively online.
I'm a wrestling fan. Me and Manda want to wrestle. That's fine.
We're all kids now. They're
See,
wrestling.
Amand's from Georgia, so you have to pronounce it wrestling.
Wrestling.
I'm not from Georgia.
I mean, you're in Georgia. This is what I meant. I know you're not from Georgia, but you're in Georgia, so it's got to be wrestling now.
Yeah.
So what?
Stuck in and from are not the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how many days after the pandemic ends is she going to be here?
It
After.
depends. She hasn't fucking ordered her passport yet. Someone
I
needs to
can't
talk
do
to her.
anything about it this second. Fuck me.
Oh, we're going to start a domestic.
That's the plan.
Carry on. What can I poke?
No, well, if she had her passport, it would be the day after the pandemic, but it's probably going to be now 8 weeks after the pandemic, depending on American postage.
Most Americans don't have a passport, you know.
Yeah.
I do.
Mine's expired,
Ooh,
but I
or
have one.
just
I
that
do.
girl.
I need to be renewed. I haven't gone out of the country except for like once. That was to the Bahamas.
I went to Greece 2 years ago. I was scheduled to go to China in April. We had a tour set up and we were all ready to go, and then we had to cancel it.
I think Jeff was scheduled to go as well.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, to China. It was meant to be a busy time for China.
Will you
Brian
be
said-
reapplying for your different coloured passport, Dave? Let's all get controversial on that.
What, you mean the more useless passport?
Yeah.
No. Well, not unless I've got to go somewhere. I can't see me leaving the country again, ever. I was going to be lost. Brian says, I want to use my face mask as a slingshot. Jones says, go shopping. I so need to pay attention to myself. Nerdy says, nothing. I kind of don't want it to end. Ike says, bathhouse on my lonesome or Mon Chalet in Denver with my wench. You got a wench. How posh. Beth.
Well, when I moved here, I was broke as hell because I had spent all my money on my home and stuff and moving. So I didn't get to go anywhere. And then finally I caught up a couple months later. I was like, okay, I'm good. I can go out and I can go meet people, and they shut everything down. So I'd like to actually go explore my city that I live in now. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Granny?
I am expecting grandchild number 5 in November. And so I would like to go to Seattle to see my daughter who is expecting.
Mm.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Ricardo said...
Go to Seattle right now, though.
No, can't go to Seattle right now.
Ricardo said skinny dipping at sunset. I'm fairly certain you can get away with that now.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think Ricardo actually wants people to see that. That's what the thing is.
he wants the audience.
Yes.
Right, assuming that Manda isn't as sex obsessed as MathPig, what would you like to do?
No, it's the same.
It's
I'm probably more so than him. So
We're going to do some wrestling.
That's a wrestle. He's gonna wrestle.
a special hug.
Yes.
it's
Seraphim.
going to be lovely and sweet and passionate. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's
He
not.
needs
You need a
alone.
50-meter exclusion zone as it explodes.
I'm more worried about the neighbours and their children sleeping.
Math.
Move to the country.
He is in the country.
You think you're going to make it out the airport? How quaint.
I'm probably going to crash the car on the way home.
Seraphim.
Get out of the parking garage.
I'm going to go to Atlanta and go to some of the clubs I usually go to. I've missed them. I need to get laid. That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go get laid a lot.
Hey, she wants to do some wrestling as well.
I plan to do
Up
some
on your
wrestling.
way?
That's right.
Sarah,
Seraphim, do you know if
Up on
they're
your
going to
way.
do Do you know if they're going to do Dragon Con this year?
I haven't heard anything about it yet, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'd have to look and see. I haven't looked into it in a while because I usually can't get the days off because it's on a weekend. And I switched my looks like it's still on. So 83 days and 7 hours and 11 minutes and 40 something seconds. So it looks like they're still going to do it. So I'm hoping to be able to go to Dragon Con this year, though.
I might come.
That'll be fun.
You have to meet up.
Yes, we do.
And not give each other corona.
Yes, I'll try not to give her corona. Because by then I'll be working in the office again. So offices, especially call centers, are hotbeds for disease. So that should be fun.
That's because of all the misbehavior that goes on them. They shouldn't be.
Hey, I am a good girl, so I'm not part of that.
Of course not.
Didn't she just say something about going out and getting laid?
Yeah,
Yes,
because she can't get laid at work.
I can't not
Usually
from
causes
lack of
problems.
trying. Because all my boyfriends that I dated at work didn't want to get in trouble, and I'm like, I don't care.
Fair enough. Right. Next question. Oh, here you go, nerdy. If I tried to get laid...
Wait, you didn't answer, Dave.
that enough?
Dave, what's your answer?
No idea. Me? I get to look forward to stop doing the show.
He wants to bounce on his ball through, like in the middle of the street. That's what you're gonna do, right, Dave?
Saying
do you know what?
Amanda's made it the whole way over here. She'll be here for at least 2 weeks. So we would probably do a day trip over to England. Maybe visit Dave.
Maybe. How much is a ferry to
Damn time.
Liverpool?
30, but I won't.
How long is the ferry to
No, we're gonna go
Liverpool?
to England.
Well, I actually sat down and worked this out because I was looking about buying cars close to the ports and bringing them over, and it's a fucking 7-hour boat trip on the Liverpool one, and it's only an hour if you go into Wales and then drive up, but it works out about the same money once you take diesel into consideration, so you might as well just sit in the boat with Manda and have sex in the back of the car for 7 hours or so.
Well, if she flies over here, I'll come over there then.
But no, 7 hours boat sex.
He
Yeah.
wants boat sex. Dave.
I'll have the 7 hours boat sex.
He's gonna pick her up, and she's gonna go get in his car, and he's just gonna have the whole back windows covered with something.
Yes.
'Cause he's gonna have to. They're gonna get arrested.
I think they're gonna try to reenact that scene from Titanic.
Probably.
I've already asked her to draw me like one of her French girls. She did know.
Oh, that's not nice, Manda. Did you ask nicely though? That's the question.
Yes, he did. It was very sweet.
I was going to make a joke about my purple jewel not being big enough, but then.
This went way out.
Okay, so this is critical questions, not me and Manda's sex life. Moving on.
Right. Next question.
Thank you.
Yes. Repeatedly. Question 720. What is your favourite fictional bar?
Fictional bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Nevermore Tavern.
Oh, good answer. She took it. Man.
Carrot toss.
Don't everybody answer
Where's
at
that?
once.
I'm thinking. Hold
One
on.
Angel.
Say again?
The one in Angel.
Ah. Is that the one that Lawrence sings at?
Yes. It's
Oh, I do
Lord's
like
Club.
that one. Do like that one.
Somebody
Prince-
answer Mose Eisley.
Say again. One of you at a time. Go on.
That was gonna be mine.
There you
Who's?
go. Thank you. Mos Eisley.
Seraphim, Mos Eisley.
Where's that?
10 forward.
10 forward's a good one.
I even know how to play the theme song on trumpet, clarinet, drums, saxophone.
Nerdy says, Amanda's Love Box, that's a bar, right?
Oh my god.
Joan says, cheers.
Amanda's Love Box is going to be MathPig's favorite. But it's real, so it doesn't count for this question. So...
Tony says, Callahan's Tavern, by far. Ricardo says, cheers. Beth?
I'm gonna go with Roadhouse after they clean the bar up.
Very good. I will have to go with Quarks.
I thought you would have said Porky's.
What?
Nothing.
You say Porky's?
I couldn't think of the name. I couldn't think of the name of the pub from Shaun of the Dead, so I went with the Roadhouse.
The Winchester.
Wellington.
Oh,
Or
it was
the
the Winchester.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It could be the
All right,
Wellington.
something with a W.
Momma Atheist says, this is such a great
No.
question. I wonder what genius gave it to you.
The type of music they play at the Mos Eisley Cantina is called jizz.
Yes.
Is it?
Because I only know that because a friend of mine tried using it in roleplay, and like everyone made jokes about it. And she just got so pissed that she left the group because reasons. So we had to explain to people that's what the type of music's called.
Yep, Angel pointed it out to me.
Yes.
I'm sure, ever so politely and not in any way suggesting making a mess. Right, next question.
I'm not touching that.
I was going to say, I didn't think you would. Question
Somebody
700.
else's job.
Question 721. Would you rather receive an alert every time your parents had sex, or have your office alerted every time you do?
I'll go with parents because they're both dead, so it doesn't count.
No, assuming that they were alive.
Oh shit.
I would go with the office finding out because, you know, I'm basically celibate right now, so they never get an alert.
That's cheating as well.
I will go with
Be
the
no
office.
alert.
Go on.
But then if I do finally get to have sex at work, they would know. So that's not good. So I'll go with my parents.
MathPig.
I wouldn't care if the people I work with knew.
Yeah, this is
I
my
get
problem.
fired because there's someone that's going to report me.
Well, we pretty much talk about everything at work. We're pretty close knit. You know,
It might even improve your standing.
Well, we're technically.
Well,
friends.
actually, they probably find out anyways. Because
Yeah.
I'd probably text somebody right afterwards and go, "You won't believe this shit." So, you know, it actually happened. Lots of exclamation marks.
Finally.
What
We're
type of an
technically
alert
not
is it? Like, am I getting a text message?
Yes.
Or, oh, well, then I'll just put the phone over in the drawer. That's fine. I'll take one from my parents then.
Actually, wait. You can block the number, so you.
No,
won't
you
get the
can't
message
block it.
anymore. Damn it, Dave! You're making this horrible.
It comes up like an Amber
There are
Alert.
no loopholes to critical questions. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
That's not a loophole. That's actually how text messages work. Loophole would be if that's not how text messages work.
It's a special type of text message that you can't block.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I'll still go with my parents because I'd probably get fired if someone found out that I had sex at work. Unfortunately.
No, it's not. It's not about having sex at work.
But I plan to have sex at work, so
Okay,
if they
fair
get
enough.
messages every
Okay.
time I have sex.
Fair enough. Granny.
The question is pretty meaningless for me because
It is.
I'm retired, so I don't have a work.
You
my
have to assume that
dad-
you did, and that you have parents.
As I say, I do have a dad. He's 87, but my mom died 7 years ago. So
Answer the question, say 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Or she could use YouTube as her work, and we all get a notification every time she has sex.
That's terrible.
I would have to say the notification for my parents, because I really wouldn't want people at work to know what I was up to.
Manda.
Well, my parents are both alive, but I know for a fact they never have sex because my mother complains about it to me all the time. So we'll go with that one.
So you can celebrate when they do.
I'll pick that
No,
one.
they
Volcano alert.
won't.
You can
never
send
get
your
the
mom a message like,
notification.
"Congratulations, mom! It finally happened."
I get a text message, Manda's roof opens up and balloons fall down. Woo!
and a clown corpse.
That one.
Right, next question.
You didn't answer, and that did MathPig.
Yes.
MathPig
I
answered.
said I would get the alert from my parents. If it's a text message, I just put the phone in the top drawer.
And the worst thing is I didn't read out what the chat said. Nerdy said the parent alert, who cares about them? Jones says, every time my parents have sex, I still want to find out how compatible they actually were. Ricardo, if self-pleasuring is accounted for, office, I want to piss off the boss with constant notifications. Oh, I'd go with notifying office. I'd prefer to not know what my parents are up to. It's not even that. The worst thing is I quite enjoy knowing about the sex life of others, apart from anyone in my immediate family. So I don't want mother,
Agreed.
father, daughter, and I don't think I particularly want to know my aunts and uncles. But other than that, I'm vaguely interested.
Vaguely.
I have a passing interest.
Is that like passing gas?
No.
That kind of interest at that level.
Natty says, I don't work or have sex. So I don't get the question. Right. Question 722. If you were given $5 million to open a small museum, would you question why you have been selected for this museum-based windfall? Or do you think you would have what it takes to open a small museum?
Yeah, I could totally open a museum.
Could you? Doing
Easy.
what?
That
That
old
was
stuff.
part of the question.
That was not part of the question. It's correct.
Yes, you have to ask that as another question at some other time, Dave.
Don't stack
It was
questions,
implied.
Dave.
It was implied. It's why I didn't put what at the end.
Nope. Usually, whenever you do that, you ask why or what. So you didn't do it this time. Gotta ask that another time.
Manda.
Well, I live in a really artsy area,
Jesus, man, just
so
talking
it wouldn't be
about
very shocking for someone to want to open up any museum here. And I would just assume it's my gleaming personality is why they asked me.
Fair enough.
So I think I could totally open up an art museum. I don't think it'd be that hard.
You don't think it'd be that hard?
No, not here. I mean, there's artists everywhere here.
Are they any good? Could you as curator judge whether or not they were any good?
Well,
Yeah, I
I
just
think
had-
most art is
I
stupid,
fucking-
so I think I'd be pretty objective whether I liked it or not. Like, sure, you can put it in there. It's fine.
Nerdy says, I'd open a small museum. Natty says, I have what it takes, modern art. Manda.
Well, I mean, I used to work at a science museum, so I can do it. I love working at science museums. So yeah.
Granny?
That would be cool.
It would have to be a legal museum.
Interesting.
Well, I'm a lawyer. There is a museum not too far from me in Scottsboro that has a lot of really interesting legal stuff because it's dedicated to the Scottsboro boys. Is everyone familiar with Scottsboro boys? It was a group of 9 young men ranging in age from 12 to 19 that were all arrested for rape in about 1940. They were all black, and they were accused of raping 2 white women because, no, I take it back, it was in the 1930s, because it was during the Depression, and they were a lot of people would jump on trains for free transportation, and that's what they had done. And there were 2 white women that got caught. And so to get out of being charged with hoboing on the trains, they accused the black people on the train of raping them.
What?
And there were 2 major Supreme Court cases that came out of this. This was in the court system for decades. Patterson versus Ferguson is one of them. And that is the case that decided that people have a right to an attorney. Because, up until then, that right didn't exist. And these guys were all convicted and sentenced to death without even having an attorney to represent them.
What the?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that you
I
assume
agree,
you forget that there were times before things that you take as standard.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the kind of museum that I could run. And would I be able to do it? Yeah. This kind of thing. I have an aunt that did work heavily with an art museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, and she held $1 million fundraisers frequently. So yeah, I would just go to my cousins and say, "How did your mom do this?"
Joan says,
I know the Scottsboro boys. I love true crime.
no one else did.
Yeah.
Joan says, I'd question it. I'm not commercial or well connected enough to pull it off. Seraphim.
I would question it due to my own insecurities, but that would probably be in my head like I normally do. But I would probably open up either one about really weird insurance claims or a true crime museum. Because I like both.
Excellent. I'd have to do a computing one, I think. I can't think of anything else I know enough about. Right. Next question. Question 723. Oh, here's another weird one. Question 723. If we were to all have a baby together right now, what would we call it? That's all 6 of us, apparently. Whose surname would it take? Or multi-barreled, which is odd because we don't give away names. And how would we arrange childcare and access going forward? This question is insane.
It is.
It's far too much.
Yeah.
I signed away my rights to the baby, by the way.
Do you?
I don't want to take care of it because I'm a horrible parent. I would be a horrible parent. I signed away my right. I think I'm the only one that really technically has a last name on my thing, so we can just use Hyde. It's fine. That'll be my contribution.
Go on, Beth.
Okay, so I think we could work out childcare like this. We could each have the kid 1 day a week, and then the 7th day, it goes to daycare. And then we all get it.
2 days. 2 days daycare. Remember, I signed away my rights.
Aww.
Yeah, Seraphim doesn't want anything to do with it.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That kid needs its parents, Sarah.
I'd be a horrible parent. I know that. I'm not gonna subject a child to any of my shit.
But I'm the grandma. Grandma can watch the kids while you guys go to work.
So you want it 7 days a week?
Problem solved.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. Then I won't sign away my rights because Granny can help me.
I'll take the kid during the day, 5 days a week.
And I think we should give the kid all of our middle names.
All of our middle names.
So that's like it'll be like Frederick, Ann, Jean, Hyde.
Yes.
Nerdy says Dave. We call it Dave.
My middle name was Ann, Beth.
Huh?
How did you know my middle name was Ann?
Ann is the most common
that's my middle
middle name.
name.
With an E or without?
E.
Okay, me too.
Catholic. Italian
My
Catholic.
middle name is
E.
not common,
Yeah.
so I'm happy. Yeah, we could give it like the first name Dave, and then like Beth said, all of our middle names and last name Hyde. It'll be fun.
That's
Why
very
do you-
cruel
why
on the
do you
girl.
get your last name if you won't have anything to do with it?
Well, I changed my mind
Yeah.
because Granny said she's going to take care of it.
Oh, okay.
Because she's the only ones whose last name we
Oh.
know.
And that's not my real last name, but I'm the only one that actually has a last name on my username. So
That's actually not
MathPig's
true.
got a last
You guys
name.
all know my last name.
That's a very good point. We do know your last name. No, not necessarily.
No,
You got
that's
married. I thought you got married.
Yeah, there's a thing called divorce, Dave.
Do you not keep your last name? Most people tend to keep
No.
keep their original name. Fair enough. Yeah, in which case we all know your last
I had
name.
no reason to.
Do you want to admit to it?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to admit to it. I mean, my dad was a piece of crap, but the rest of my family is amazing. So
Yeah, but within
That's
this
why I kept
community,
it. I almost-
whether or not you wanted to admit to it within this community was the question.
oh, I mean, I just assumed everybody knew that. 1 + 1.
I hadn't. Yeah,
And
the worst thing is I had occurred to me, but I'd never. If you'd asked me, I would have had to think about it. If that makes sense.
Ah,
Natty says
Fair
have an
enough.
abortion instead. I don't think
Oh
she
my God.
Maddie doesn't, Maddie
find a
doesn't want our
kid.
babies.
No, apparently not.
Wait a minute,
Matt
who's
Pick.
giving birth to this kid?
I was wondering that too. Who's going to carry it?
Well, it's not me or MathPig.
Amanda?
Well, it's not me either. I don't have the equipment anymore.
So we're down to
I
Mine is
Manda.
broken.
It's Amanda then.
Down to Amanda?
Yeah, it's Manda.
Okay.
It's gonna have to be her.
For a while.
Kaz. You can get Kaz to do it.
Nope.
She said no. Never mind.
Right, so. I can't do this. Wait there. It's driving me nuts. Okay, that's better. So Amanda's going to give birth to it.
Do.
Granny's going to take. I changed her name to Amanda. Granny's going to take care of it 5 days a week, 5 daytimes a week. MathPig will have it every night, and B will have it at weekends. That sounds like
Wait
a perfect
a
arrangement.
minute.
That sounds like a
We
plan
get
to
no,
me.
no. Where does daycare come in? Daycare weekends.
No, you get her all weekends.
Let's hang out sometime.
You
Huh?
get her all. You get her from Friday evening to Monday morning.
Okay, fine. I'll pay for daycare. Never mind. But you're all chipping in. Except for Grace.
in what way are you paying for it if we're all chipping in?
We're all suing Dave for child support.
It's his fault.
Why is
He's
it my
definitely the
fault?
deadbeat dad kind of guy. It's true. Oh, don't whimper, honey. You sound like Daisy.
Right, I'll go to the next question. That was an insane question.
That's
Question
good.
It
seven.
really was. That was
Well, I
actually
know.
a fun one, though.
Apparently, Tony Designs wants to date our kid
What?
when it turns 25.
Until 25.
This is- yes, when it turns 25, he'll take over.
One of the
So,
fathers
he'll
has got a
date our kid.
shotgun.
One of the mothers does too.
I don't have one, but I have access to one, and I'll know how to use it. And I know where some pig farms are, so no one will ever find you. Ever.
Question 724. What is something you would never confess to your family? But you can obviously confess to a YouTube full of people.
You want me to say it on here where my brother watches? Like,
Yeah, sure.
Oh, jeez.
He never watches any of my stuff, so you're alright.
moving on. Okay. I don't know. I have to think.
I suppose you could go it the other way and say it's something that you have never confessed, but you wouldn't care. You don't really care anymore, but would have mattered at the time.
Oh.
I mean, I got an example. I was caught by my sister with my girlfriend, and absolutely swore blind that nothing was going on. And that led to a row that went on for weeks, and I'd never admitted anything. I'd confess that's meaningless now, but at the time that was a massive deal.
Right. Oh yeah, when you're a kid, it's gigantic, right?
Yeah. Amanda?
Stupid partying I did in high school, probably. I wouldn't have wanted. Oh, you know what? My boyfriend was 4 years older than me in high school, and we lied about that. I was 17 and he was 21, so yeah, that was it.
He's only 18, Mom, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody gave us the alcohol. He didn't purchase it.
Exactly. No.
It's fake ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I did a
right.
lot.
He has a fake idea, Mom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that
Ricardo,
would have worked great.
Ricardo says where the bodies are. Not do. Once. They're still arguing about parenting.
There's so many,
Yeah, they're just trying to decide
so many things
who's
I
gonna
gotta go
beat
over.
the
in
kid
this-
and
Santi says I'm
So many
adopted.
things I gotta go over and decide on.
They're talking about co-parenting. MathPig.
There's nothing really, because there's nothing I've done that, they don't know about. As you
Is there
know,
not?
I'm an honest person. I don't really.
But what is there anything
Right.
that you didn't know about at the time that you only admitted to a lot later?
Honestly, not that I can think of, Dave. Honestly.
Seraphim,
We're quite liberal growing up over here. It's as long as you didn't lie to my mother, that was fine. Like, she's a single parent, so she just didn't want lies. As long as you don't lie, tell her, she would generally forgive you, or she would say, "I'm disappointed in you," and not talk to you for 3 days. But just don't lie.
Right.
Always tell the truth.
That's what my mom did, and 3 days were hell. It was like 2 weeks of misery and pain the way she would look at you.
Ike says, reveal to the family exactly how much they all sucked as humans. Joan, I guess that I never went to that birthday party. Beth.
Okay, here's one. I had a friend named Adam growing up. We had lost our farm because my dad decided to not pay the lease for years and we didn't know. But anyways, so we moved into town. I met this kid named Adam and we started hanging out. And when I was right around the time I turned 13, we used to go into the store and steal a couple beers and we'd sip on them like all day and just there was a little set of steps behind the post office. And you could go there on the weekends, and of course it was always closed. It was the post office, on Sunday. And I think they were closed on Saturday back then too. And so there was this set of steps for their like receiving whatever area, and we'd go hide down there and nobody could see you. It was like the perfect spot right in the middle of town to hide. And we would sit there and drink whatever beer we stole. And we did it like probably 6 or 7 times. And nobody knows until just now, except for me and Adam. And he committed suicide years ago, so it was,
shit.
It was a secret.
Natural secret.
Well, he was mixed, and his white side of his family called him the N-word, and the black side of his family called him a cracker, and he could only take it for so long. It was horrible. And everybody was against the marriage. His dad was like Somali and black, and his mom was a redhead. And he was a really good-looking kid. He was just big, strong, strapping man, and he committed suicide at 18 years old.
Shit.
And it was just a horrible thing. He was such a good guy. Like he had such a good heart, and he was my best friend for years. So,
Ow. Granny.
It's
went
not a
dark.
big thing, but when I was 16, I went on a trip to France with my high school, with our French club. And in France, you can drink at any age. So, of course, we all kind of went nuts a little bit with buying wine because we'd never been able to do that before. And we had some parties at the hotel that got a little out of hand. But not that much. I mean, not anywhere near as bad as what it could be. And I don't know that I ever told my parents about it. But to be totally honest with you, if I had, I don't think they would have cared.
Mm.
They were always offering us alcohol at home anyway.
I tried my first Guinness in France. It was revolting. I never tried another one since.
You're stinking of I'm Irish.
Seraphim.
That I'm not straight. My family still thinks that I'm straight, so
I don't think I like your family, though.
I don't like my family either, but
You keep telling me things about them, and they don't seem very nice. Right. Next question. We actually finally get to a serious one.
yeah.
Question 725. Do you think countries... yeah. Do you think countries should remove all holidays with a religious base?
Well, that would mean getting rid of Christmas and things like that, and people are very fond of Christmas.
No, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of Christmas. It just means it doesn't have any... It's not a holiday in a governmental sense. It's not a bank holiday.
It hasn't
We
been
don't
a fucking
close.
holiday with religious base for at least 10 years. It's all about commercialism now.
You see, I get your argument, but within the context of the question, we'd have to get rid of it as a bank holiday. Is the point as a national holiday? Now, people can still celebrate it.
Well,
It can,
Would there still be holidays where I get paid time plus time and a half, or triple time if it's my normal day off?
well, I'm
That's
assuming.
my
I'm trying to think of what holidays I know you guys have. You have Memorial Day, or
That's not religious.
exactly. That's my point. So you would keep that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
But most
you'd
of
keep-
them are religious, unfortunately.
Yes, but you can
The
still
only
have a
one
load.
that's religious is Christmas, so I'd be just losing
Yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas is the only religious one.
Is that,
Easter.
Easter? You don't have Easter?
Easter's not a holiday.
We do.
No.
We do have Easter, but we don't celebrate it as like a government holiday.
Right.
The only reason I like Christmas is because Christmas and New Year's usually falls on the same check, and I get a really nice check for that, especially if it's my day off. So that would be the only reason I wouldn't want to do it, unless there's something else that replaces it, like Festivus or something.
Hmm. See,
I don't celebrate any of the holidays, so I really don't care about them as far as in my home.
Hmm.
But it is nice to get extra pay and get extra days off.
It is
Exactly.
And when you don't usually get a break, because I work retail, and well, right now I do, and that Christmas time is the most exhausting time of the year. So to have that time off around Christmas time, and get that Christmas Day, Christmas Eve thing off is nice.
Nerdy says, I need days off work. We need more national holidays. Natty says, but it's all a religious base. Ricardo says, replace, not remove.
Exactly.
Is Halloween
Exactly.
religious?
I'd like to replace them.
Is Halloween religious?
Is what, Dave?
Depends on who
Halloween.
you ask.
Yeah. it
Is
depends on
Halloween
who you ask.
religious?
I celebrate Halloween anyway because that's my birthday. So
Well, it's also
I
not a
like
national.
Halloween.
It's also not a national holiday.
No, it's not.
So it's kind of
But it's
irrelevant.
still hard to get off. Yeah, it's still hard to get off though because everyone wants to take their kid trick or treating. So I'm actually last in the line because people take their kids trick or treating, and like I've been called selfish because I want to have my birthday off, which I am. I don't care. I admit to it. But yeah, it's not like it's actually a religious holiday. But I did have someone try to convince me that Halloween was a Christian holiday at one point.
Well, I think it was at one point. I could be wrong.
It was
Just
All
pagan.
Hallows Eve, which is
Yeah.
supposed to be
It was
All
a pagan
Saints
holiday.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the problem is they co-opted so much to try and incorporate it into their calendar to co-opt the locals.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Manda?
Yes.
You want to just get rid of them or replace them with secular holidays?
Just get rid of the religious part of the holidays, but keep the holidays themselves.
The problem is, if you get rid of it,
Christmas, you know, you'd only really need to get rid of about 3 things in Christmas, and nobody would notice really any difference. Like,
the problem is they would use it as a crowbar for future. It's like having, again, in God we trust on the money.
Yeah,
It's a wedge thing. If you leave the base thing there, it gets used later. The chat is now arguing whether Halloween is pagan or Catholic.
I just celebrate it because it's my birthday. You should all celebrate it because it's my birthday. Just saying.
Should we? You want to trick or treat?
I did before, until my family decided that it was of Satan and we couldn't do it anymore.
That was a question, not a... Right.
He said, do you want a trick or a treat?
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways.
Can I go with or and get both?
Sure.
Yay, or.
Right. Next question. Question 726. If you were stranded on a desert island and you were allowed to have 4 disc-shaped items with you, but you could not have 2 of any kind of individual item, which discs would you have with you?
MathPig's gonna pick a pizza. I know that.
I didn't even think about it. I wasn't thinking about food.
oh no,
No,
I
I
can't
wasn't.
eat some pizza. Why? Yeah, come back to me.
Come back
Pizza's
to
one
you.
of mine.
Pizza's one.
One would be a coiled rope.
Cool, right, I can have that, yeah.
Ah.
One would have to be a weapon, like maybe a disc-shaped blade.
Like the thing you can get, yeah, I've seen what you get.
Throwing star.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I was thinking more like in the film, isn't in one of the Blade films, he's got a thing where the blade comes up and round like that, and your hand's in the middle.
That works. Yep.
Or you've got the
Just
thing
something that you could be used as a weapon.
and sharp. You got that thing that Xena uses too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mine would be a disc-shaped suitcase full of all the stuff I need.
No, you
Kidding.
can't
Oh,
have that.
Good answer.
I know, kidding. I know you'd say that. I'm still thinking of mine, but one of mine would actually be pizza, because pizza's delicious.
I'm trying to work out
Well,
when
I think 2 of mine. One would be a frisbee because you got to have some fun.
Yep.
And
frisbee.
can I say a circular saw? It's disc shaped.
Oh,
That's true. She's right.
you could have a circular saw blade.
You're gonna make me make the motor. God damn. Okay, fine. I'll take the blade. I can still cut wood.
Manda.
I don't know. I guess the throwing star for a weapon. Pizza like Robbie. Fuck. No, I can't think of anything. It would be worth bringing. Fuck me, I don't know.
Take a DVD.
For what
of the.
purpose? You'd have to have the DVD player.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've got 4.
Go on.
I've got pizza.
Yeah.
A round rotary blade so we can cut things down. A
Yeah.
round dinghy so I can go fishing.
What?
See? Yeah, a
No,
round dinghy.
what's a round thingy? You
Dinghy.
need more.
Dinghy.
Oh,
Dinghy.
A boat.
sorry. I think you said thingy. Okay, dinghies works.
Oh, now you've made me forget my 4th one. For fuck's sake.
In the cave.
Well, if you can't talk properly,
Says
Natty.
you with
Natty.
the fake accent at the start of every single episode. Okay.
Natty says a plate, an ashtray, pizza and a mirror. Nerdy says a portable hole, an inflatable raft, a parachute, and a compass. Natty says a mirror because you can use the sun's reflection to start fires with it. Doc says 4 of the wizard's anti-gravity discs. You can't have 4. You only have 1. And they don't exist.
I remember the fourth one.
What?
Oh, go.
A wheel.
So I can make a wheelbarrow to carry things.
I bring my Millennium Falcon.
You know, with a saw, you can just make a wheel. You know that trees have this kind of round shape to them. You can definitely make rudimentary wheels relatively easily.
You do realise that this is a stupid question and any answer will work because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we need to be able to pick holes.
I got
in
my other 2.
Go on.
My other 2 is a large, very shiny piece of metal because I can cook on it.
Yeah.
And I can start fires with it.
Yeah.
And the 4th thing would be one of my brother's UFOs to come save my ass.
They're round?
I want a circular porthole that I can step through and leave.
Portal.
Nice.
I do think you want a stainless steel wok.
That was gonna be one of mine. Mine was a shotgun,
that's the kind
a
of thing I'm
wheel,
talking about.
a mirror, and a wok.
Big.
Yeah. IQ says...
no, rope and a wok. Sorry.
Rope and a wok. You want to be tied up?
Not wheel. I've always.
IQ
Why
says...
would you even need to ask that?
IQ says coiled rope, saw blade, coiled copper wire, solar panel. Did that cat change colour?
No, I have 2 cats.
Oh, fair enough. Joan, with 2 holes in it, I'm borrowing the robe from Godless Granny. You could make it turn fast. I am so lost. Make it turn fast. They're trying to make a lathe.
Apparently.
Yes.
Ricardo says flying saucer, steel plate, round tarpaulin, round steel blank. Blank?
Yeah, so that you can make it into anything.
Got you. See, everyone loves a portable hole.
Of course they
Like
do.
the ones, an Acme one that Bugs Bunny has.
Yes.
Jump in the hole.
See, I was gonna say something like that, but I figured you would say no. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna bring a portal or something because they'd be like, no, it doesn't exist.
Of course I'll say no, but it's a good answer. It's a fun answer. Alyssa Marie says a magnifying glass and a steel plate. Like that one. Right, next question. Question 727. How would you feel about a law requiring parents that receive child support to supply the court with proof of how the child support money is being spent?
I
Yes.
would really like that.
Would you?
No. You would completely overload the court to the point where they couldn't function anymore.
Is that your main objection?
Oh,
Yes.
they could raise our taxes and hire in new people. They would if they wanted to, anyways.
Well, considering that the law and all the courts could handle the workload.
Okay, we'll make that assumption for now.
Yeah,
You would have it. You would want it.
I would.
Ricardo says overreach. Nerdy says I'm fine with that. Mando?
Doc Fearson says everyone has a portable hole.
Fact.
Not one we can escape into.
Well,
Depends if
never
it's
mind.
on the
Moving
club
on.
that almost lost it. He's in there last week.
Right, I missed a word there that's going to make. I'm assuming is going to make it make a lot more sense than it was in my head. Where did you lose your car keys?
In Amanda's love box when we were playing Whiplash last week.
It sounds painful.
That does sound very painful.
Lost some
I'm not
very
gonna
odd
ask
keys.
how that happened either.
But I'm not gonna judge you two and your cakes because that's not my place.
No kink shaming.
Yeah, no kink shaming.
Seraphim.
What was the question? Wait, what? Yes, I think they should.
Beth, you
Honestly,
said yes.
I think people that get government assistance should have to do that as well, to prove that they really need it, and that they use it. And the reason I say that is because of this. Because where I work, we have people coming in with EBT cards all the time,
Exactly.
buying like soda and chips, junk food, candy. They're not
My
spending
thing
it
that I
on
didn't like was the people that would do that
food.
and like they would get their food stamps and they would buy like steak, shrimp, and lobster, and like use all their food stamps on that, and then like for the rest of the month they would they still had money but they would buy their kids like ramen noodles and hot dogs and stuff like that. They wouldn't actually buy their kids food that money should go to. They're like feeding their kids like junk food when they weren't supposed to be.
Yeah,
and
junk.
They're feeding themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Not food. Yeah.
So I think they should.
Do you not think that is too much influence? Because you would then have to determine what was acceptable for them to spend it on.
I agree with you, Dave. I mean, that's the whole problem with the WIC program.
Well,
The WIC program says what you can and cannot buy under it, so that they're making sure that kids get nutritional food, which is a good idea. But there's so many rules to using WIC that a lot of people that are eligible for it won't even bother with it because it's too difficult to use.
That's true. But the thing about it is also that I do think that stores should have people that'll help, because most stores have like a little pamphlet that shows you what you can get. I've seen one store actually had like it would have labels underneath stuff that said WIC eligible, so that way parents would know I can get this or I can't get this. But
right.
This question is about child support. So child support basically, like, I guess, is to keep people from like spending it on like getting their nails or their hair done instead of like getting their kid clothes and stuff, which is what a lot of people do.
I agree. That's why I said yes to that. Yeah. Go ahead, Granny.
I think that some kind of accountability is a good idea, but what this is proposing is too much.
See, oddly enough, when I saw child support, I wasn't actually thinking from the government. Child support in my head comes from an ex or an ex-husband or an ex-wife that's contributing to the child.
That's why I mentioned that it's for child support, so that's completely different. That means like trying to make sure the person buys the kid clothes and stuff instead of like spending it on themselves instead of the kids.
So like giving a receipt back to the parent that paid the child support.
Yes.
Well, they could set up like some kind of an app or computer program where you just scan the receipt in and it's in the system. So it wouldn't have to be handed to the person. There'd be actual proof of it. Because you could hand it to that person. They could get rid of it and say, oh, they never gave it to me or something.
Oh, entirely.
Because people do that kind of stuff.
But the problem, the way I saw this question, I'm really intrigued as to how it. Right, it basically, my fear is that this gives too much control to an ex. That money is the most common way that you splitting up with the husband or wife. Money is the most common way that the ex will try and control.
Yeah, money and the kids.
Future partner.
So that would give both the money and the kids to the ex. That's true.
And this is where I would. This is how I saw the question, and that this is why I think it'd be a terrible idea. Not because I don't think accountability is good, but because I think giving that level of control over to an ex-partner is very dodgy. But I quite like the governmental ones. They're interesting. Because they are state funded, because they're tax funded, I think there should be a higher level of accountability. I think
But Dave, if it's a court mandated child support, then most of the time you have to pay it through some form of the court system, or local government system. So you'd have to give the receipts to them. That's why I was thinking instantly the local government would take care.
No. Do courts mandate that you pay for things, or do they mandate that you pay a certain amount?
They mandate that you pay a certain amount, and then they collect it directly
Every
from your
month.
wages.
Yeah. So they're not. The courts don't
Right.
care what you're spending it on. The courts care. The courts care that you're paying a fixed, the X amount a month towards the upkeep of your children.
Right. So they'll take a guy that's single and has no kids after the divorce, and they'll strip him of whatever they want to and leave him with very little because, they want the kids to be provided for, which I agree with to a point, but the guy's got to live too. And I've seen that happen where they stripped most of his money away and he had to rent a room from someone and beg food.
And
Just
also, if they don't pay it, they will. They will
Apparently,
revoke
that
his
doesn't
license
happen in the UK
or
anymore.
suspend his license too. So they'll actually
yeah.
take away their ability to get to and from work by suspending the license if you don't pay it for a while. But
And then eventually they'll just put you in jail. Right.
yeah,
That solves everything.
yes, it does. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
boggle.
Now the kids have all that money because you're in jail. Right. It doesn't fix a damn thing.
yeah.
I know. It's just.
Well, Dave, as you state that, what I said is in relevance to government money. If the government is providing entirely, and you know yourself, according to the government, I'm supposed to give £140 a month for Elena. I give 200, and I don't ask a damn thing, and I don't have to go through the courts. I just automatically transfer that to Donna. She does what she needs to, and that's it. I don't ask. I just pay the fucking money because she's a child. It's easier than asking me every week for shoes, which if she needed to, she would get on top of that. But yeah, I agree with you on the control. Explaining to me where the money is going is far too much control. But if it's mandated that everybody must do it for the government, explaining to the government what you're doing with the money is a totally different thing.
Yes. Natty, I think the problem is we live in a culture that glorifies having families to the point people who do not have the means or know how to do so in the first place, and the people are overly sympathetic. I think you're probably right. To people manipulating the system. I think they are. I mean, it's one of those things at the moment. I pose a question when I'm in abortion debates, mostly with right wingers. As to what the question is, they say they want to stop abortions. And I say, I can give you an almost guaranteed way to stop abortions. That is, when a woman becomes pregnant, the government pays them $100,000 to carry that baby to term. How many of them do you think will want to contribute towards that?
Probably as many as just answered your question when you said that. Everybody went silent.
I know, this is it. But the point is, it is a valid way of preventing what they say is the thing they want to prevent.
True.
Right. But the problem is, it potentially, the reason it's a terrible idea, it would, of course, incentivize people that want money to get pregnant and carry a baby to term and then get rid of it.
Also, a lot of people think that that most of the people who are on food stamps and stuff, they think that they're doing that because they get paid per baby or something.
Yeah, I think if they were intelligent enough to be making decisions, good luck to them.
Yeah.
Jones says, the welfare of the person receiving the money is beneficial for the children too. Yeah. He says, when we go back to, we live in a culture where having a family is, nah. The problem is there's a lot of things in our society that we haven't talked about that is left over from the past. And that's a weird way of saying it, where population growth was important. Population growth was everything. And every single religion right now out there still requires population growth to grow, and it's in basically every single doctrine. And we are at the mercy of that, because they are still growing in those groups. Doc says, since we really don't need to do taxes, as we do repurpose the government tax employee to deal with child support, I don't understand that. But the problem I've got, okay, here's the biggest problem I've got, and it comes down to both sides, from anything from the government perspective rather than individual perspective. Virtually everything where we only have a small number of beneficiaries, I don't know in the States how big yours is, the cost of policing it is more expensive than the cost of just giving it away.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep trying to do it at the moment.
Well, I think that's what Granny was saying is...
Hmm.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Well, I think we in the UK we had child support, which was a staple benefit, which was everybody gets $10 a month, $10 a week. I'm guessing, I can't remember. It was, let's say everyone gets $10 a week per kid. Not a massive amount, and it was to help towards making sure. I think it was originally put in to help towards milk, to make sure everyone got enough milk or enough of very, very basic essentials. Okay, right, and the point was, they keep trying to means test it. Why are we giving this to middle class people? Why are we giving this to upper class people? But because it was this staple benefit that went, actually, it went to women, which is always the mother that got it. That went to everyone. The cost of administering it was very, very cheap. It didn't give very much money. It was very cheap. And as soon as you wanted to introduce means testing, there's just a massive more cost in administering the whole system. And I think this becomes a problem with anything where you're trying to help at the lowest level. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm gonna catch up. Anja, I just got here, so said, but they could just make sure the children are taken care of without knowing exactly what the money is being spent on. Yes, but how do you do that? I mean, you're right. I mean, the problem is there's an awful lot of laws and things that do not. They pay lip service to an idea, but they don't actually meet the goal. If you want to have an argument with me sometime, talk to me about plastic bags. Okay? Because plastic bags are wonderful things. Okay? And it's not that we shouldn't be reducing our plastic, but reducing our plastic bag use will do absolutely fuck all for carbon change. It's actually making it worse. But because it's mixed up with the whole cleaning up thing, it's seen as one of these things that, we've got to do this because climate change, because... Yeah, no, it's a fucking lie. Every scientific study has demonstrated it's a lie. You've got your nice reusable bag? Yeah, that's producing more CO2. It is what it is. Right,
I crocheted my bags, so.
Say again?
I crocheted my bags.
Well...
Go on, Beth.
Oh, that's nice. Where I live... you cannot just hand out plastic bags. My company recycles, so all of our bags are already recycled and they're made to break down easier. So that's one of the reasons we can hand them out, but most businesses here cannot. And the one thing that I've noticed above everything else is the lack of trash in this city. Because where I came from, there was plastic bags stuck to every freaking bush. Every ditch had them in it, and you don't see that here.
I thought it was
they're
interesting.
mostly paper.
What's interesting about
and they charge for them.
The waste element of it. What's really interesting is the companies that made the things used to be responsible. It was before. If there were things like Coke cans lying around, it was Coke that was responsible for it. And they managed to get laws changed all over the place that made litter and dumping personal responsibility rather than the companies who the stuff belongs to. I think if we switch back to the other way, those companies will start finding better ways to provide their packaging and probably reduce it. But yes, okay, I'm going to catch up with what Natty says. This is probably going to be a long time. Right, Natty goes, at this point, families are a drain on the system. You see, this is okay. I have a massive problem with that because if you don't want a family, there is absolutely no reason you should be paying towards future generation. I find it very weird that people say that everyone should be paying taxes for everything, and that you should care about the future of the planet, that you should care about any of this. If you have consciously made a decision to not, if you consciously made a decision to not bring people in to go forward. You are not devoting your life to future generations. Why should you care?
Right. Well, on that point, Dave, like, what are they supposed to go and get a vasectomy and get all these things stopped to prove that they're not going to? Because later down the line, you could meet someone and change your mind, and then then you have to start paying because you've now decided that you do want kids.
Yes. I don't know. I haven't worked it out. It's a principle rather than I don't feel that strongly about it. But it's a principle, is my point.
The thing about letting people elect where their taxes go, there would be a lot of things that would be sorely underfunded because most people wouldn't pick them because they're not interested in that. Like here in Georgia,
Right.
I'm pretty sure if we were able to pick, a lot of people would not pick education. They would pick military or something like that. So
Again, I find it really weird that you don't your healthcare.
yeah,
Just categorically,
sports.
every country in the world that has socialised healthcare spends less money, right? Your healthcare issue should not be about the all these fiddly things of people talking about all this bullshit. It's purely the Republican Party should be behind it because it's fucking cheaper.
Yeah, every time they bring it up, though, people they basically fearmonger about it. Like last time they brought it up was like Obamacare. People were like talking about death panels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people were against it because of that.
It's because the health insurance industry has too great a
Yeah.
lobby.
Yeah, and also health insurance makes them a lot of money too, and pays them a lot of money.
And a lot of our healthcare is for profit. We have for-profit hospitals, and they have a strong lobby as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a very small fraction of our hospitals that are not for profit.
So
Very
while it would be cheaper in the long run, they would also lose out on a lot of money that they get from that.
Mm. All right,
Since
I
big
think,
money controls the United States, that shit's never happening.
right. I think I have talked too much, so I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip to the next question because I have ranted far too much in this question.
Oh,
Right.
but it was adorable.
Good, though, Dave. You're usually
just-
very quiet.
All over the place is the problem. Right, question 728. What things do you think we should replace the 7 deadly sins with?
Do we have to keep
Say
them
that again?
sin?
No,
You're asking us for 7 things that we
7 deadly
consider
sins.
to be
no.
sins.
I'm asking you for something else. Well, potentially, I was asking either for something we could say is a sin, like eating pineapple on pizza, or something more along the lines of 7 somethings that should be considered evil.
Or how about if we just replace them with the 7 virtues?
Why is it got to be 7? Why can't it just be however many we want it to be?
It can be however many you want it to be. I'm just basing the question on the annoying.
Mine would be George Carlin's revision of the 10 Commandments again.
Yeah, but didn't they sum down to like 2. Don't be an arsehole.
3. Yeah,
3.
3.
Did you just call me a cunt?
What are the 3?
Listen, don't be a cunt. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all
basically.
we need.
I'm pulling it up. I forget them. I know one of them is keep thy religion to thyself is like the last one he did. Let's see, George Carlin. Thou shalt always be honest and faithful, especially to the provider of thy nookie. Thou shalt try real hard not to kill anyone, unless, of course, they pray to a different invisible man in the sky. Thou shalt keep thy religion to thyself.
But that 3 and 2 conflict with each other.
That's the point.
Yeah. I mean, George Carlin.
It's George Carlin. That's the point.
I got into trouble for my example. Aunt Jer says, "Fuck you, pineapple on pizza is delicious." I quite like pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple on pizza, so
Yeah.
It's a controversial opinion in this community.
Don't know why.
Pineapple and jalapenos.
Yeah, they work.
I haven't
I like
tried that.
I like
consider it.
pineapple, ham, and onions because the onions go very well with the sweetness of the pineapple, and it's delicious with a barbecue sauce.
I love a spicy pizza. Oh, there's an
Barbecue
Indian
sauce.
down the road that does pizzas, and even the sauce is spicy. The toppings are spicy. Then you get jalapenos on it. Oh, you're sweating like a priest in a Barney suit. It's that spicy.
That is amazing. That is great, MathPig. I'm going to use that
Oh
from now
my
on.
god.
You are welcome to it.
Ricardo
Oh,
says the 7
goodness.
deadly swarfs and then says you people are fucking evil. I don't think he likes pineapple on pizza. Nerdy says chocolate pizza. So you could have the 7 evil pizzas.
Yes.
I like that. Jenny says, there's nothing wrong with pineapple in pizza. It's the people who eat it that's the problem.
I think the laws should be. I agree with the don't be an asshole part.
Yeah.
But I'd rather change it to be kind to one another instead of don't be an asshole, because there's a difference there. You can still be indifferent. Don't worry about what other people do in their own homes unless it affects someone outside of their home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in general, I'm not excluding children, harming children, but you know what I'm saying? If you're just a regular adult, you should be able to do whatever the hell you want in your home.
Mm.
And get a damn job. Able-bodied people should have to have jobs. Pisses me off.
Is that because you're an able-bodied person with a job?
So if they're able-bodied,
I've been jobless. I've been homeless. And it pisses me off that people go, well, I'm homeless. Well, do something about it. Jesus Christ. You know, they hand them... Well, the area I live in, let me explain why. The area I live in, they help the homeless so much that the drug addicts stay homeless because they know they'll be taken care of and they could still... And then they steal stuff to buy their drugs. Because they can get a large meal every single day somewhere in the area. Every church does it. At least there's many churches that do it twice a week. So they meals, they have their EBT card, they get all these cash benefits, they get all this crap, and they take care of them so much that they can just stay drug addicts. So it just pisses me off.
Makes sense.
There's people that really need that money.
Yeah. Natty says, the new 7 deadly sins. If you are broke, dumb, crazy, or drunk, don't have sex. And always use protection. 2. Don't steal. 3. Keep your opinions to thyself unless asked. 4. If ye harm none, do what thou will, unless they deserve it. 5. Do not complain unless you intend to take advice.
The next 2 are
I like it.
So we're still waiting.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
6. Do not silent but deadly fart in an enclosed space without warning.
That was good.
Right. Oh, I think we should carry on. Unless anyone has any fun ones. Amanda? Right,
got all
second
serious, sorry.
I know. No, it was good. Second to last question. Question 729. If an older version of you came back from the future and gave you advice, would you take the advice or assume that the you from the future was evil and trying to screw you over?
How did you know I was going to turn evil? Well, shit.
I didn't. The question is do you think that you would come back and screw with yourself? And not in the way you're thinking. You'd take the advice.
I
Beth?
know I would take the advice.
You'd take the advice. Excellent. Beth?
Oh, same. Because I know that I would never do that to anybody, never mind myself. If I told myself something, it would be something to save my ass for something bad, so I'd take the advice.
It could be an evil clone, no. You don't know. You don't know. Could be a shapeshifter from another planet. You don't know.
I think I have enough common sense to figure out if
overlord,
someone's trying to throw me into a rabbit hole.
Yep.
Natty wants her 7 listed. Be excellent to one another.
Which is coming out soon.
Yes.
Yes! So excited.
Bill
I find
does
that
not
really
love-
weird. I never thought those films were that good.
Ted did not age well. He was too excellent to himself for a few
Too
many
excellent to
years.
himself. Jenny says, I'll take her advice and then steal her time machine. Nerdy, I've already had this happen. It turns out I would have come back earlier if I'd managed to invent time travel. And Joe, I would 100% take... Oh, no, I read that one. Take the advice, I'd never mislead myself. Sammy says, I would take it. I was so dumb when I was younger. I seem to be getting exponentially smarter. Natty says, I am the evil clone. Alyssa Marie says, take the advice. Ricardo, yes, definitely evil. I will probably come back with Julianne Moore address and numbers for the lottery. Joan, if it sounded reasonable, then of course, but if it doesn't sound reasonable, I wouldn't. The point is, if it sounded reasonable, you probably would have done it anyway. Manda.
I would
Yes.
super evil to myself. I would super fuck with myself.
MathPig.
I'd probably take my advice.
I'd probably take your advice.
If I could negate all them evil clones and evil twins and shape-shifting aliens and know for certain that it was a future version of me, for sure, I would take its advice.
Natty says, of course I would take the advice. Even if it's evil, I will always be evil. Right. Last question. Question 730. Would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who have passed away, or go to the future to meet your children or grandchildren to be?
Your children could turn out to be fucking assholes at least.
Your great-grandparents could turn out to be fucking arseholes. In fact, I think there's probably more of a chance that they would be.
In saying
Based.
that, I was just looking at pictures of my nanny that had passed away. She's maybe 12 years dead or so, and I was looking at pictures of her not yesterday. So it would be nice to go back and spend time with my nanny. She was very good. Yeah, she was great.
You're more interested in the people that you've from your past than the potential future.
Yeah. Out of all my relatives that have passed away, I probably miss my nanny the most. My daughter's named after her. Like, well, her middle name's named after her.
Nerdy says, neither, but I'll go to the future. Jones says, future. Natty says, I won't have children. There's a running theme in this episode. There's quite a lot of children in this episode, actually. Say again?
But I guess I'll go back to go to the future because I won't have kids, but at the same time, it'd be interesting at least.
That's not within the spirit, but okay.
I don't want kids, and my family sucks. So.
Doc says, although I'll have no children, I'd rather go to the... We're not inventing a time machine here!
Either way, I still want to go to the future.
Granny.
Definitely the future.
Sarah, what if you could... Sorry.
I'd like to see how my grandchildren turn out when they're adults.
Very good. Same person. Go on, Beth, what were you going to say?
Well, Sarah, what if you could go back and meet your grandparents or great-grandparents and change how your family is by meeting them?
I wouldn't be able to because most of my family's craziness came from them being religious, and my family back then, religion was a thing. So me going back and saying, "Stop being religion, fuckers," would not work out.
Well, but that's the point. If you told them if you went back and proved to them who you were and tell them how it ended up, it might change their attitude about everything.
Yeah, true.
If I went far enough back in my family line, they'd all end up being fucking bigoted bastard sectarian cunts like this.
Julie says...
I could try to go back and get my family to move out of Georgia, because a lot of the things do stem from being in Georgia, from me being undereducated.
Julie says, psst, I'll tell my 4 times great-grandfather to stop owning people. Can't get much more of a cunt. Natty says, I won't have children. Natty also says, I'm going to the past to kill Hitler and take over his operation.
No.
Ricardo says, nothing for me in the future in that department. One last talk with my grandfather. Jenny says, past, have kids, then come back to here to enjoy them. We're not Alonzi. Alyssa Marie says, past, I miss them. Aunt Jer says, hard question. I know for a fact that some of my ancestors were horrible people. However, I don't want any spoilers of my life. Natty says, I'm going to the past and have to meet my grandparents. I'm going back to kill my grandfather after he has already given birth to my mum because he's a paedophile. Fuck him. I like that answer. Manda.
Can I go in the past and give them like, some stock advice or something and make my family rich? Fuck.
No.
Well, then I guess I just go in the future because my family sucks.
Beth.
I'd like to go back to the past to see my mom and sister, and then immediately after having my daughter, kill her father. So he wouldn't have spent 15 years molesting her.
Yeah, that works.
I would totally kill him. I have no bones about it. After what he did to her.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree. Really. Nerdy says, I have no idea who my grandfather was. I think it was some American soldier. There's an awful lot of that in Britain. Sammy, didn't get to be either of my grandfathers, so I'll go back. A good mix there. I thought people would err towards the future. Right. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And thank you to Manda. To Godless Granny. To MathPig.
Oink.
To Seraphim. To Beth. And thank you to everyone in the chat. I think I have to give a special thank you to Natty for her essay in the middle. And it's Friday. We will see you all tomorrow when there is absolutely loads going on. I need to point out before we run away that Jay did an almost awesome video on sex and gender that premiered while we were live. You should all go watch. And we will see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.